it up, send out Twitter, post on the Discord, and should be good. Oh, and I probably should walk on screen, I think. Might be a good thing to do. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is January 11th, and this is the January 11th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be starting off with some mouse smoothing. This is something that I've been meaning to get into TextQuest for a while, and I'm just going to sit down and do it today. It's something that I don't personally use mouse smoothing. In fact, I hate it, but I understand that some people like it. And the main reason that I want to do it is because having mouse smoothing on makes for much better trailers. So when you're making a trailer, having one-to-one mouse snapping, similar to sort of like old school FPSs had, that actually does not look super great because everything kind of looks a little twitchy. And while that's good from a gameplay perspective, it's not very good from a visual presentation perspective. So we're going to be adding that in today. In addition to that, assuming that shouldn't take us too long. Assuming we can at least get one other thing in there. I want to do a quick run through of the connections between levels to make sure that I actually can make the overworld transition. So I want to be able to go from the plains to the canyon, from the canyon to the plains, to the cabin, back to the plains, into the woods, so and so. So we're going to be doing that after we get mouse smoothing going. And I guess I should actually start off today by talking about 2017.3. So if you look at the top left, you can see that TextQuest is now in 2017.3. And hello, Scorpio. Welcome back. How are you doing today? So with the 2017.3 update, I did take time to create assembly definition files for everything that I'm using, and it's a weird process to do that. So let's go ahead and look at the Sleepy Owl soft ones. So this is what an assembly definition file is. It's just a text file. If we actually go to this file and look at it, we can open it up in Notepad++, and you can see that it's just a text file with JSON format in it. That tells you basically the name of the assembly that Unity should make, and then any references to other assembly definition files in the project. And these are just the name value that you see here. Include platforms and exclude platforms are just compilation-specific commands, so it tells it when that assembly should be used. For example, you could say include platforms editor, and that means that the assembly would only compile in the editor, and it wouldn't be included in the build. And it's kind of weird because when you first start doing this stuff, you just make an initial assembly definition file, and you think that's the end of it. But that's not quite the case. It's not just as simple as just plopping an assembly definition file into your folder and then you're done. All right, didn't have to work today, so that's good. That is good. Well, except you don't get paid today. But, you take what you can get. Anyway, so even though you have an assembly definition file in your folder, which, by the way, assembly definition files basically tell all scripts in sibling folders and folders below them that they're going to be compiled into a specific assembly, in my case, sleepyowl.common. And actually, it's super fun. Let's go ahead and open up Visual Studio. Because now my project went from having 4 assembly files to 15 or 30. I guess it's 30. Oh yeah, and because of that, yeah, everything has at least 2 assembly definitions, one for the regular scripts and one for the editor folders. So if we look at our not now, I guess. So if we look at our Solution Explorer, you can see all of these assemblies that I've created. And this isn't even for all of my assets, but it was a weird process to get this to actually function the way I would expect. So you can see that like Karante has an assembly, and then it has an editor assembly. And these are kind of the best case scenarios where I just have third-party assets that will get one assembly and then one editor assembly. And the reason I have to put those third-party assets into an assembly is because once I place my own code into an assembly definition file, then that basically locks all of your scripts down to just that assembly file. They can't reference things outside of that assembly definition file unless that assembly definition file actually references other things. So if we look at a common, you can see that I'm referencing Unity heat maps and TextMesh Pro. Well, they're definition files. So you need more assets. And I just gotta paint some nice, happy assets in there. Yeah, I actually trimmed down my assets recently because they were getting a little unwieldy. In any case, hello Garrett, how are you doing today? So yeah, the whole thing with assembly definition files is that they're cool, and I do think that TextQuest compilation time has actually gone down. So if I make TextQuest specific scripts, it's not quite as crazy as it used to be. Now, it's not ideal because I do still reference a ton of other assembly definition files you can see here, and that means that it's going to trigger those to recompile, I'm pretty sure. If I remember correctly, that's how assembly definition files update. So every time I update TextQuest, or a file in TextQuest, all of this stuff is going to update. Oh, right, yeah, and we have the new fire emotes, which, they look pretty good on stream. Or in chat. I was a little worried about that, but it turned out all right. Doing well, messing with the new assembly stuff. Yep. I'm talking about the process that I went through to get things to compile. So long story short, basically, it's super cool and super easy to set up, but you need to be mindful of the fact that when you create an assembly definition file, it's going to grab all of the scripts below it, including editor scripts. So if you try to make a build with only one assembly definition file like this, it will actually fail. So to get around that, I had to make a editor assembly definition file that references the original assembly definition file, and then it's fine. You can make builds. Unfortunately, this does really suck if you have a project hierarchy already in place. So I actually spent the last 2 days basically reorganizing TextQuest so that I don't have 5,000 assembly definition files, because I currently, for TextQuest, I only have these 2 assembly definition files now. And that's because I took all day yesterday and the day before that to move all of my editor scripts into underneath one editor folder. So before, my preferred style was basically I would script a class, and then if I had editor components for that, I would put the editor folder right next to that class, and then I would put the editor scripts in there. But I can't really do that anymore, otherwise I'm going to have a bunch of individual assembly definition files, and that's not really fun. So to get around that, to help me get around that, I actually created a tool. So if I go over to this, create editor assembly definitions, it's not really going to show me anything right now, but I can show you what it looks like in practice. So I'm going to delete my TextQuest editor assembly definition. Oh, and I got to remember that I need to reference my common stuff in there. Okay, so I deleted that assembly definition file, which you can see that that's going to cause a little bit of a recompile. It should not be as long as we're used to seeing. In fact, well, okay, I lied. It is still a while, I guess. But once that's done, we'll be able to create new assembly definition files for the editor folder there. Now, one of the ways that you could do that is you can manually create an assembly definition file by right-clicking on the folder, saying create assembly definition file, and then manually assigning everything. But I actually wrote a tool that will help streamline this process. So the main way of doing this is you're going to go up to create and then say assembly definition. That will create an assembly definition file. But I wrote this little tool here that will let us just right-click on the original, like the parent assembly definition file, and then we can create editor assembly definitions. So it'll scan all of the folders underneath this assembly definition file, looking for editor folders. So in this case, I've already restructured my project so it finds only one. Then it will automatically create a name for that. It'll say, based off of the original assembly definition file, which was sleepyOwl.txtquest, it'll append editor to that, and then a number, which we can get rid of. And then all we have to do is hit create editor assembly definitions. So that will create that editor assembly definition file. You'll see it pop up. It'll be re-imported. It'll already have the editor stuff checked off. That way it's not included with the builds. Now this is going to actually throw a little bit of an error because it's not got everything that it needs to compile. So if we let this finish up compiling, we should get some errors talking about it's missing some script references. So you can see that it's looking for stuff. And that's because it doesn't have references to my sleepyowl.common stuff. So I need to add two things. We're going to drag and select sleepyowl.common as well as sleepyowl.common.editor. Hit apply. That'll recompile everything, and then from there, everything will work, and I can actually make builds. So it's a little bit of a weird process, and you need to be mindful when you're working with these things that you do need to have you need to have assembly definition files for all of your editor folders. So to avoid that, or to avoid having a bunch of editor folders, or a bunch of editor assembly files, I made a huge effort to move everything into one big editor folder, which kind of sucks, but it's better for code, I suppose, or at the very least it's a little bit more manageable that way. But yeah, so that's kind of the long-ish, shortish version of my description for editor or for assembly definition files. They're cool, but there's a little bit that you have to consider when you're making them. In any case, let's go ahead and move on. So we're going to go ahead and start trying to code smooth mouse look. Now I'm probably going to base the first pass of this off of a smooth mouse look that's on the Unity community stuff. So let's go ahead and create a new, let's see, do I want to call it the same thing that they do? Which is what? Smooth mouse look. Okay. So I'm going to go up here to text quest, scripts. Let's see, gameplay, player. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and right click here, create C# script. We're going to say smooth mouse look. And while that's compiling, is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to, Garrett, for the 2017.3 update? Besides, obviously, assembly definition files, which do slightly speed up things. It's most notable when it's not in my text quest folder because, again, that does cause a recompile on a lot of stuff. But in Sleepy Owl, I think when I update that, it's just like done right away. So let's go ahead, open this up. Oh, right. Gotta reload this. That's another thing. When you're creating assembly definition files, if you have Visual Studio open, it's going to constantly complain about needing to recompile everything. Speeding up compile times. That's fair. Yeah, it's a pretty significant gain. And like I said, if I create a script in sleepyowl.common, it actually compiles super quick. TextQuest is a little bit slower because it's referencing a bunch of other assemblies. So that I think when I make a script in TextQuest now, it's not quite as big a recompile as it used to be, but it does have to recompile all of the Sleepy Owl stuff, all of the Sleepy Owl editor stuff, all of the TextMesh Pro stuff, all of the let's see what else. Basically every third-party asset that I'm referencing directly through code has to be recompiled, which sucks, but that's better than the entire project being recompiled every time. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just copy this stuff in. And I get the feeling that this is going to not quite be as performant as I would like, so we're going to take some time to clean this up, I'm sure. Oh, good. We got a list. So using, not Sleepy Owl, system.collections.generic. All right. So let's go ahead and load that. Oh, yeah, it's going to do that too. Let's go ahead and say advanced save. Oh, no. Ah, crap. This is 2017. I don't know where this is. Oh, how wonderful. Great. Now I need to figure out how to do this. Let's see. Advanced format document. You'd think that would make sense. I don't know where they move that stuff. Well, that's annoying. There used to be an advanced save and file. I wonder if I can... Nope. Well, that's disappointing. Uh, well, that's really, really annoying because that means that I'm going to have a bunch of different, yep, right there. Ah, that's gross. Yeah, that's not going to be fun. Let's go ahead and let that recompile. So we'll live with that warning, I guess, for a little bit. Um, Speeding up compile times. OMG, it's bad my project too many assets. Yeah. Okay, so I think we're going to want to, I'm assuming, put this on our player controller. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new scene, drop our player in here. And I'm going to attach that script. Prefabs, player. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and create a plane for a player to walk on. Let's go ahead, hit F here. Should be good enough for us. Let's go ahead and just play the scene real quick. Make sure that it works. Ooh, what is going on here? Oh, I guess I did leave that on, so we can turn you off. Okay. So this is our current looking script, which I'm happy with this, but we do need to at least enable mouse look. So let's go ahead, pause. Actually, let's go ahead and stop playing. I'm going to delete this main light. Let's go ahead. And I might also make this a gray material, just so that it's a little bit easier on the eyes. Oh, I don't have a gray mat. Really? There we go. A little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to want, I believe, to put it on here. Would be my guess. Although this is going to be a... Oh, geez, that's going to be super awkward, isn't it? Because that's... No. It's separated. Which is that the case for this too? It is. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and basically replace this FPS mouse look with that. So let's go ahead and put on smooth mouse look. So this is going to be for mouse Y. Go ahead and copy this. It's pretty much the same, so we'll say sensitivity. We'll try matching these as much as possible. So minimum Y is -80, maximum Y is 80. I don't know what frame counter does, so we'll leave that at 20 for now. Go ahead and copy this, come back up here. Let's paste that component. And let's see, so we have, there it is. So 4, and we don't really have one. So I guess that'd be 360. Yeah, so that's going to be 0, minus X. And I think that's right. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. Well, not save, no real point. Just realized that, oh yeah, the action points thing. Well, it's not actually action points, it stands for something else. Whoa! That is, ah! Okay, so I'm going to tell you when I start and stop. Starting, stopping. Starting, stop. Start, stop. Oof. Yeah, this is why I don't really like mouse smoothing, because it's so friggin' awkward. But it does look a lot better for trailers and such. Not really sure what the... Oh, I bet... Okay, so that's what frame count probably is. It's samples from the last 20. So I guess we would probably want something like that. Let's go ahead and... If I change this to... let's see, smooth mouse of... Go ahead and say 30. Which should give us a smoother effect, but also a longer one. Okay. Well, that's actually really, really easy, so that was nowhere near as difficult as I was expecting. which I guess means that I'm going to basically let's go ahead and open up FPS mouse look, which is going to be a garbage script because it's a C# port of a JavaScript file that I found when I was first starting out. So anyway, so yeah, the AP thing at the bottom of the stream is like a thing that Twitch does, and you can do like activities to increase your AP, and if you get certain milestones, you can do stuff and get rewards on Twitch from me, I think. You also just accumulate AP by watching the stream. So, let's see. I always turn off mouse smoothing and head bob and motion blur. I turn them all off too, but I understand that some people like them, so I wanted to allow that to be a thing. And I also think that when you're making trailers, mouse smoothing looks a lot better than trying to not have mouse smoothing on and look at stuff. So if I, for example, this is a terrible scene to do this in because there's nothing really to focus on. But if I try to stay focused on that corner with mouse smoothing, it's a lot nicer looking than if I tried to do this without mouse smoothing. And in that case, this is what it would look like. So you can see that it's just like a lot harsher because everything's kind of snapping and stopping when I actually do. So I need it for trailers because I need to make a trailer at some point, preferably now, probably. And as for head bob, I'm a little bit more ambivalent on that. Yeah, really, motion blur. I guess that's true. It probably would look better on a stream or on a trailer. I really hate motion blur though. So let's go ahead. Let's see. Did I open that up? I didn't. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up my FPS mouse look script. Okay, which for the most part seems to actually be. That's actually not that bad. Oh my! Yay! We're going to optimize. Yay! Looking at old code that I didn't even write and was terrible when I got it. Yes. Yes. Okay. So we're basically going to, I think, fuse these two scripts together. And we're just going to have a toggle. That way I don't have to have two separate scripts that I enable or disable. Yeah, I do find it kind of funny that my reaction to seeing the words motion blur was yeah! I actually, you can't see me because I like to use my avatar, but I did actually recoil and raise my hands. That's how bad it is, apparently. Okay, so let's see here. For this, we're going to do a couple of things. Can look, I know we're referencing publicly. But everything else, I think, is entirely within the script. Okay. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see here. Okay. I'm not even sure if we're using this really. Well, I guess we are. Max angle, clamp rotation. Huh. Just like very tangentially. Which is funny because these are private, which makes me think that I could never really do much with these. Alright, in any case, let's go ahead and so I guess we're going to want to start converting some things. First things first, let's go ahead and go up here. Public bool can look. Wow, that is weird. Get return can look versus set can look is equal to value. Okay, so everywhere where this is being referenced, I'm going to swap to using the capital C. Can look. Okay. We're all good there. Let's go ahead. We're going to change all this to be private and serialized. Yeah, I didn't. So the AP amounts were kind of just. They're just the default values that they specified. I I'm a little concerned because I have only got 319 after watching all of my streams. I keep all of my streams on my left monitor so I can make sure that they're actually streaming. And I only have 319 AP. I don't know if that means that I just haven't been active because my monitor wasn't active, like that window wasn't active, and therefore it didn't count, or what. No idea. But I might end up changing those. So we'll see what people end up doing, or how people feel towards that. If it feels a little too difficult, then I'll probably lower them. Serialized field. We'll go ahead and make that private. I'm going to go ahead and just serialize everything. And we're also going to go ahead and say private int. Private int. What's it called over here? Frame counter. Wow, that's a terrible. Let's see. Let's go ahead and say sampling amount. And we'll just say sampling is equal to. Looks like it was. We'll go ahead and say 30. I'm also going to go ahead and tooltip this and say the amount of frames to. Wow, I can't spell. To sample when calculating smooth. There we go. Okay, so what else do we want? I guess we're going to want to go ahead and have a bool for smooth. So let's go ahead and go up here. We're going to say private bool smooth is equal to false by default. Let's go ahead and serialize that. We're also going to go ahead and turn all of these public fields into private. Okay, and let's go ahead and let that compile. Make sure we don't have any errors. You like Overwatch, Chris? I don't really like Overwatch. I do like watching their trailers. In fact, I still maintain that Blizzard makes the best cinematics in the industry. At least in terms of how pretty they are. But the gameplay itself just never really got its teeth into me. I think it's because it feels a lot like rock, paper, scissors to me. And I know that seems like a kind of not a great way to describe the game, but it's not like other competitive and cooperative multiplayer shooters where you have something like Team Fortress, where largely player skill can have a pretty determinate outcome in a battle between two characters. But in Overwatch, that's very much mitigated. You could be markedly better in terms of being an Overwatch player than the person you're fighting, and if they just have a character that beats your character, you will lose unless they're incompetent. So my example for that is you can't beat Roadhog with Mercy unless that Roadhog that you're fighting is really terrible. I just learned about that serialized private thing the other day that it shows in the editor. Yep, that's actually the way you're. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it's the way you're supposed to do things, but it actually makes sense from a programming standpoint because you're basically locking down access to these things from external scripts. So it really comes down to a programming philosophy. Before I would just do public for everything, but I think it does actually make more sense to do serialized private fields and then do public getters if you want to do that. Really. Well, see, the problem with that DPS versus a healer thing is that in Team Fortress, if you're a medic, you can still kill a heavy. It's hard, but if you're really good at playing medic, you can do it. So it's in my opinion, they nerfed individual skill to the point where it becomes unsatisfying to just do random matches. You have to go in with a team that you actively communicate with, but that really takes away from it if you just want to play like one or two quick games without really talking or doing much. You just want to play. So it just kind of takes away from it. And I prefer playing healing characters, which means, I love being glued to someone else and just, pumping health into them. I'm fine with that. It's just that I like being able to defend myself if I need to. And you can't really do that in Overwatch. If you run up against someone that your character just cannot beat, then you will lose that fight, and that really frustrates me. But I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's just a personal taste of mine that I don't really get into it because of that one design flaw, in my opinion. Okay. Anyway, so we have the serialized stuff showing up, and I'm also going to want. We're going to make a custom editor for this later. We're not going to worry about that now. So we have the smooth variable, and now we need to kind of mix these two classes together. And actually, first things first. I am going to go ahead and come down here, say private transform cache transform. Come down here, private transform cache transform. Get return cache transform question mark cache transform is equal to transform. Alright, so we're going to change all of the references to transform here to cache transform. You know what? I really should have done like a before. I should do a before and after garbage collection, or I guess would it be? Yeah, it'd be garbage comparison for the two scripts. Although I bet it would be pretty minimal. Okay, so that should take care of caching. Next, we're going to need. Let's see, are you used by anything? Oh, yes, you are. Okay. What about min angle? Yeah, I wouldn't think so. And max angle? Nope. Okay, so we're going to get rid of these, and I'm just going to serialize those fields. Because I'm willing to bet that I just turn these to private without really knowing why. So serialize field. Serialize field. Go ahead and move these up. If I could grab them. And we'll go ahead and paste that here. Okay. That should be pretty much all we really care about here. Go ahead and let that compile. And now we're going to have to do the actual update stuff. So if can look, that's all correct. So this is if axis is equal to... Okay. I feel like I could get rid of this mouse X and Y because I'm never going to do both. So... Well... Yeah, we'll leave it in for now. Okay, so let's compare the two. I think I can do that, can't I? Well, that's not quite what I wanted, but it'll work. So let's go ahead. So we have a rotation Y. So this is for our mouse X axis. We have rotation Y is equal to 0F plus equals input.getAxis. Sensitivity.x, that's all fine. Really, you have an array of rotations. That's interesting. So this is if we're clamping our rotation so that it can't have a... Oh, okay, I get that. That's what clamp rotation is for. It's for it's so that you can't go past a certain speed of rotation. That's interesting. Okay, so from here, we're going to... Let's see. Oh, that's what the roto array is for. Okay. I got you. So we need to have an actual series of lists here, don't we? Okay. So we're going to come up here, say .generic. We're going to have some private lists. So I guess this is actually also going to be a serialized field. Let's go ahead and move this up. All right. Okay, so we're going to have some private list and then float. Yep. Let's see. Samples x is equal to new list float. list float samples y is equal to new list float. Make sure that I spell that correctly. All right. Oh, right. We also want that average, don't we? So we'll say private float samples x, not samples average x is equal to 0f. Private float samples average y is equal to 0f. Okay. Let's go ahead and come down here. All right. So I don't think we really care about the clamping because that's going on here, but we don't actually care about that. So we're going to go up here and we're just going to say, oh, actually, hold on. I wonder if there's a good way to do. Oh, that's interesting. I guess it's totally additive. All right, fair enough. So we're going to go ahead and say, oh, that's also a mouse X and Y. So we're going to do that here. So we're going to say sampling or samples x dot add rotation y. Oh, yeah, that's a little awkward, isn't it? Interesting. Is that because I got rid of rotation X? Oh, yeah, okay, then that means that this actually is useless. So I'll get rid of mouse X and Y because I'm never going to do that anyway. Let's go ahead and so we're going to say samples x.add rotation Y, which I guess I could actually just rename to be rotation now that I think about it. Yeah, that would work. But I guess we'll leave it as Y for now, just to make sure that it's not confusing for when I reference it outside of the script. So we're going to add that sample, then we're going to go ahead and say if, so samples x dot count is greater than or equal to sampling, and then we're going to go ahead and say samples, wow, I cannot spell, samples x dot remove at 0. So we're going to remove the first one in the list, and then we're going to do an average. Wait, you said, okay, yeah, you set the average to be. Okay, so we're going to say samples average x is equal to 0f here. Then after we do all that, we're going to go ahead and say for int I equals 0, I is less than samples x dot count I plus plus, and then we're going to go ahead and say samples average x plus equals samples of x of I. Okay, then we'll end with that simply by saying samples samples average x divided equals by samples x dot count. Wow, that was terrible. Count. There we go. And I think, let's see, so that's going to clamp it. So from there, we're going to actually say, ooh, this is interesting. Original rotation being set at the beginning? No, it's not. So they're actually manually setting quaternions, which I mean, we could do, but we're already using vector 3s. And technically we're using a float. How could we simplify this? I guess we would just want to increment by that average, wouldn't we? So, how would I want to do this? I feel like I would do rotation y plus equals the average. So this would be done at the end, which means that this would be a hard value. So I would actually want to change this to, I could kind of cheat by simply saying samples y, samples average y is equal to this. Let's see if this actually ends up working. Then we're going to say rotation y at the very bottom here plus equals samples average. Oh crap, no, that's... I only want to do that if I'm actually sampling. So we're going to go ahead and say if smooth, then we're going to do all that crap, because it doesn't make sense for us to do any of that unless we actually want to smooth things. So else, we're going to do all this stuff. Well, it's a little awkward, I suppose. So we'll probably move this up to here. And, ugh. Yeah, that's not great, is it? Let's go ahead and set this back up here. Uncomment this. And rotation Y. Let's go ahead and... Hell no, that doesn't really track, so let's go ahead and get rid of this. And I think we'll want to do that. No, that wouldn't work. I need to cache this value and then set it. So I do want to say this. We're going to comment this out. And then at the bottom here, we're going to go ahead and paste this back here. And we're going to say an else here. Move this up. And then we're going to go ahead and say this. Also go ahead and move this into here. And we're going to change this rotation Y references, or these rotation Y references, to this. Okay, I think that will work. So that should set up smoothing for our x-axis at the very least. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. See if we can get that to behave correctly. Oh yeah, and I guess I'll turn on smoothing for our mouse X look. So that's only going to work on the mouse X currently because we don't have it set up for the Y. Oh yeah, so this is a fun warning too. So Substance is being deprecated in 2018. So Algorithmic, the company making Substance, has to create a plugin for Unity for continual usage of Substance in Unity. So that's going to be a really awkward update because there's no real soft transition from native to plugin. It's just going to be like a hard cut at 2018.1, and that's when Algorithmic said they're going to release their thing. So I'm a little worried. What with all of my Substance files being, in the project. Anyway, let's go ahead and try this out. So we should have mouse smoothing on my left, or on my horizontal looking, but not on my vertical looking. So this is going to be interesting. It's not bad. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, it's because I still have it on for... Oops. That might give us a false positive then, wouldn't it? Let's go ahead and turn you on, turn you off. Go back here. Turn you on, turn you off. Let's try that again. So that's pretty good. Kind of. I'm a little worried about... Oof. Yeah, I was a little worried about that. So if you do like a quick left motion, you get this kind of like awkward thing. We don't really want that, I guess. So that's why they're doing the accumulative effect. Okay. So that means that I do want to set that up like that. So let's go ahead and go back here. So we want this to be the case. It's just super awkward. We might have to change our approach on the FPS mouse look to be something more like smooth mouse look, where it's doing quaternion math. Not the end of the day, or end of the world, but... So they just changing the way Substance integrates. So they're dropping support for Substance altogether. Like Unity will not support Substance out of the box. You will have to get a plugin that Algorithmic is going to provide. And the reasoning for that, it seems, is because Unity's release schedule is too sluggish for Algorithmic. So having Algorithmic make their own plugin will allow them to release updates whenever they want or whenever they can, as opposed to waiting for Unity releases. So that'll be kind of nice, but it'll be kind of weird too, because it means that you have to get a third-party plugin whenever you want to do stuff with Substance, and it's gonna get weird. But at the end of the day, I do think that it'll probably end up being better, just because having Algorithmic, the people making Substance, also make the plugin for Unity means that you'll have tighter integration, I feel. So you'll be able to do some cool stuff that they couldn't do if they had to wait for Unity to do things. So that'll be interesting. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. Hopefully it won't be too crazy. Okay, so we're going to go up here. And I wonder, well... I wonder if I could change this. Actually, hold on. So I'm going to go ahead and go back here. And then we're also going to say this. So it's a little bit of a deception here, but this should work, I think. Yes. So let's try this. I think that will give us what we want. Oh, and samples average x should obviously be set to be 0 here. Because again, no point in doing the effort if we're not going to use smoothing. Let's go ahead and let that compile. Oh, they are tied to Unity. Yeah, that's just it. Basically, is that their turnaround time for bugs relating to Substance is a little slow because they can only update that stuff with every actual Unity release, which is kind of annoying. But I'll just be happy because it means that I won't have to go to Unite, sit down with Unity experts and say, have you seen this? Do you know what we could do to fix this? And have them just stare at me in bafflement and be like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. All right. Oh, crap. I don't think I turned on the appropriate... Yep, I'm still using the old one. Okay. Let's go ahead and stop, turn these off. Let's make sure the appropriate scripts are on. Okay. So, again, we should have smoothing... Oh, right. Force of habit. We're not actually saving the scene. So we should have smoothing on for horizontal movement, but not vertical. All right. All right. I like it. I think we're on to something here. Okay, that's... What happened there? Wait, hold on. Is it spinning so fast that it's actually breaking? Yes! It spun so much that its rotation must be crazy. That's hilarious. Okay, so that was not good. Interesting. Okay, then I guess we can't really do that. So we are going to want to just use a little bit more of a simple samples. And then we should have a samples average, which, I mean, that gives us that awkward snapping, which we don't really want. I'm going to take a look at this again in the scene. See if I can kind of suss out why it would be like that. Why it would behave that way. It is kind of weird. Alright. And let's see, is there anything else that might be weird in there? I don't think so. So for the most part, we're going to try just looking around the scene. So like, that seems to work pretty well, but the problem is if you do that. If you do this kind of like jerking motion, it really doesn't like that. I don't really know what to do about that besides lowering the sample rate. Which I guess I could do. So if I change this to like 10. Yeah, the worst thing is if you do this. Going back and forth like that, it gets super awkward. I guess let me go ahead and turn this off and turn on Smooth Mouse Look for that to see how it behaves. Yeah, you're not really getting much better there. Oh, holy crap. No, it does the same thing that I... Okay. Is that just how mouse smoothing is supposed to look then? It's been so long since I've had it on that I don't remember the mouse quirks of it. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the thing I was hitting. So, I guess I was doing the right thing anyway then. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and finish implementing that for Y, I suppose. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, come down here. Let's see. So we're going to go ahead and say if smooth, else, I'm going to get this. Let's see. Let's go ahead and grab this. Place that there. Move this over to the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and go up here. Get rid of this. So we're going to say, so samples average y is equal to 0f. We'll say samples average x is equal to input.getAxis mouse y times sensitivity of y. Oh, and I apologize for anyone on the stream that has epilepsy. I'm sure that rapid spinning did not help anything. Sorry, I just noticed that off the corner of my eye in my Twitch window. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and be lazy and copy all this and replace all the y's with x, or all the x's with y's. Let's see, add samples average x and make this y, and replace all of this. Remove samples y. Okay, so I think that should work. So I should be able to turn on smoothing for both of my look objects and have them behave appropriately. Okay. And then hopefully that will mean that that's basically all I need to do for this smoothing. So I can just go into the editor side of this to make these fields not show up if they're not needed. And then we can do menu stuff because I need to allow the player to turn the mouse smoothing on or off at will. So let's see. There's that. Let's try. Ugh. God, I really hate. Turn off. I really hate mouse smoothing. So like, I'm gonna turn right, and then I'll tell you when I stop moving the mouse. Stopped. 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 There's just it's like a whole half second extra of motion, which I guess makes sense because the frame sampling is 30. But jeez. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it, though. It does definitely smooth things out. It's just awkward because you can do like that. Like just doing like I'm gonna make a M. Like it's so awkward. Ugh. All right. Um, so to show you what I mean, we're gonna go ahead and go over here to game. We're gonna want to have basically another toggle in here that's like toggle run or toggle crouch that will allow you to basically toggle mouse smoothing on or off. Let's go ahead and stop playing. So that works. That's good. Let's go ahead and remove the mouse smooth stuff because we do not need it. Rid of, oh, wrong thing. I was going to remove the wrong object there. Get rid of you. And okay. So let's turn off mouse smoothing because I hate mouse smoothing. Go ahead and save. Oh crap! Right. I guess that means that I can go ahead and apply these changes. And cool. So now we get to do editor stuff. And oh boy, I get to work in my new editor pipeline. Yay! Not really. I don't really like working this way, but it's something I'm going to have to live with. So now my current editor workflow is instead of having the editor script right next to the script that it's attached to, I have to have a parent editor folder that then I drill down into. So we need to go to scripts, gameplay, player, then movement, yes. Folder, movement, all right. And then finally, FPS mouse look editor. So create C# script, FPS mouse look editor. Is that one word or two? Okay, good. That's two. Okay. So I mainly want to make a custom editor so that we can get rid of the fields that aren't really relevant, depending on what axis you have selected. Wow, that's kind of annoying. That's axes, not axis. But I guess that makes sense because it would be axes. In any case, let's go ahead and go over to here. Let's also maximize that. Get rid of this because I don't really need it anymore. Open up FPS mouse look editor. Cool. So this is going to be under text quest. Go ahead and save. FPS mouse look. That's also under text quest, right? Oh, it's just hanging out anywhere. That's fair. Let's go ahead and make this an editor, which means that I need to come up here and say using Unity engine editor. Okay. This is going to be a custom editor type of FPS mouse look. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say private void on enable. Oh, that's interesting. I'm still getting used to Visual Studio 2017 because I resisted upgrading to that because I didn't really have a need to. And it's interesting some of the stuff that they added. Let's go ahead and say override on inspector GUI. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to want to say using sleepyowl.common.editor. Oops. Editor. Which means that we are going to want to say custom editor utility.draw script field, and we're just going to say serialized object. Yep, editor scripting, my home away from home. That's not entirely untrue. I actually really do like editor scripting. I really want to figure out how to do some of the really crazy editor stuff. Like how to do curved lines and graphs and all that. That would be super fun. I just don't know what I would use it for, really. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and say serialized object dot update here, followed by serialized object dot apply modified properties. Then we're going to end in the middle there. Let's go ahead and grab all of our fun things here. So I'm going to need all of this. Let's go ahead and paste that in here. Get rid of the serialized commands. Get rid of equals stuff. Get rid of you, get rid of, and all of this must go. Okay. Okay, so that's all private. That's good. Let's go ahead and make these all serialized properties. All of this. All right, so now we got to initialize these values. So we're going to go ahead and say can look is equal to serialized object dot find property, blah, blah, blah. Can look, paste that in. Then we're just going to duplicate this. So smooth, X. Okay. Go ahead and get rid of these. Oops, wrong one. Sensitivity. You know what's really funny is I feel like I could actually streamline this even further because there will never be a point where I have sensitivity X or Y anymore. What with that not being an option at all. Which I guess actually means that I should redo this to be that. Make that X. And let that compile. We'll come back here, minimum, maximum, do clamp rotation. Here to angle, max angle, and sampling. Alright, which I guess actually sampling, now that I think about it, should go up here, below smooth, because it's going to only be active if smooth is turned on. So let's go ahead and move that up here. I think that works out because that's the only int field that I have anyway. I like to group my fields by type. So it's good that I don't have other ints next to that. Let's go ahead and go back up here. Alright, so that sets up all of our serialized properties. Let's go ahead and rename these so that we have proper Unity syntaxes. Sampling. Axes. Well, I guess while this is going on, anyone playing anything good recently? Because I've been mostly playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Because I wanted to play a pretty mediocre game, but that's fun to play. That. Alright. So now we get to do all of our fun stuff. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and say editor GUI layout dot property field can look. Simple as that. Let's go ahead and just create a field for everything first. So, all right. Let's go ahead and grab all this. Smooth sampling, axes, sensitivity. I guess that means I should probably have a sensitivity slider in my options menu as well. So that's going to be fun. Go ahead and save. Okay, so if we let that compile, everything will look the same, basically. So we shouldn't really see much change here. The axis might mess up here, because the value is probably going to change, but everything else should look the same. Playing some Northgard. New RTS, still in early access. Not bad. Different, not much micro. I'm assuming you mean microtransactions or micromanaging. For an RTS, it could go either way. I would assume you mean micromanaging. Alright. So, yep, everything looks the same. Like I said, axis was messed up. Let's go ahead and change that to mouse Y. That's mouse X. Okay. Oh, right. I can't save. Ah! Go ahead and hit apply there, though, because we're going to need to do that. Okay, so for this, we're going to want to go ahead and say if m smooth dot bool value, that's when we're going to do this property field. Otherwise, we don't want it to show up. For the axes, we're going to want to go ahead and leave that by itself, and then we will say, is that a vector 2, or is it just a, nope, it's just a y. All right. So we're going to go ahead and say if m axes dot int value, actually, is there there's an enum index, I think. Yeah, enum value index, which is, I'm not entirely sure what the difference between that and int value is, because they seem to be the same, is equal to fps mouse look dot rotation axes dot x. Then we're going to display this. Else we're going to display that. All right. And actually, we're going to go ahead and move this up. Move this to here. Oh, right. I need to convert this to a int. And then we're going to move this up to here. All right. Oh, one more thing, which is going to be if clamp rotation dot bool value. We're going to do that. Okay. So now if we let that compile, we should see everything kind of compressed down to only what's necessary. Oh, and I guess I could probably go ahead and make this can't edit multiple objects situation. No reason not to. Micromanagement. Okay. Is it... I mean, I'm guessing from the name that it's a medieval Europe affair, maybe like Northern Norse situation. I would assume, just off the name, but I could be entirely wrong there. All right, so yep, there we go. You can see that everything compressed. So now if I, wrong thing. If I turn on smooth, you'll see that stuff pop up. If I get rid of it, if I change this over to Y, everything else will show up. It'll be appropriate. If I turn on clamp rotation, all that stuff shows up. Cool. So that's just a nice little editor thing. Nothing really too crazy there. So next, we're going to go ahead and try to set up sensitivity, I guess. So, freaking, it's force of habit to do save. Let's go ahead and hit apply here. So for this, I think, how do I want to handle like setting the sensitivity? I feel like having sliders in the menu are going to be fine for that, but I also need to have ranges for that. So 4 is apparently the current sensitivity that I've set, which I'm assuming is higher than most people would play at. Well, not most people. That's about probably average for... So I think this amount of rotate... Wait, do I have smoothing on? No. Okay. It looked a little smooth. So I think this rotation is... or this sensitivity is pretty decent. It's probably like 2/3 of the max that we want. So let's go ahead and pause this. Let's turn off maximize on play so I can edit some of this stuff. So 4 is our default. Let's go ahead and crank that to 8. See if that goes nuts. Oh, yeah, that's definitely... Okay, so we'll have 8 be the max, and I'm guessing 1 probably be the minimum. I can't imagine really... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So we'll have 1 be the lowest and 8 be the highest. Norse mythology, yeah. Kobolds and giants and monsters and cold winters. Yeah, sounds fun. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and... Wow, really? They have sensitivity of like 15? Am I just like some old man who can't withstand mouse rotation or mouse sensitivities? I guess we'll crank that to 15, see what happens. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause that. Let's make that like 15. Oh, not 415. That would be crazy. Put that up here. I mean, I guess that's not terrible. It's just way smaller movements. So, okay. I guess I'll go up to 15 then. Dang, that makes me feel like a really terrible PC player or gamer. Like, eh. Then again, it's also kind of hard to focus without really anything distinct in the landmark here. Um, all right, so we'll go ahead and clamp that between 1 and 15, I guess. So we're gonna go ahead and say range between 1F and 15F. Go ahead and clamp that as well. That's mostly so that I can have that slider so I can remind myself what my min-max values are. So next we're going to want to go ahead and I guess edit our options menu and set it up to actually behave the way it should. Before we do that, I'm going to take a drink. So Garrett, with the early access stuff, how has Northgard changed, or how do you think it will change throughout early access? Like, are they basically in a public beta for the most part before they release, or are they like notably missing features, but they have promise, so you decided to play regardless? I don't know. I've kind of held off of most early access stuff because of, I don't know. I really don't like playing a game when it's half finished. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. It really, to me, kind of takes away the magic of launch night. You know, getting something and then playing it, which I guess is kind of a dead concept anyway. Now that games release enough with lots of bugs that they just fix post launch. Anywho, let's go ahead and apply these changes. Got everything removed. So apply. Go back here. Go ahead and save the project. And we're going to go back to our, where are you? Our actual scenes. There we are. Other, splash fade. Don't save because that's an empty scene with nothing in it. It works. I think I need to add more options. Feels mostly done. Some multiplayer options are missing, like choosing AR or AI player colors. Okay. Nothing really too crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to really wrap my head around some of the early access stuff that's out there. But I'm glad to see that it's not like something that's just criminally underdeveloped that they're still charging money for. Okay, let's go ahead, open this up. We're gonna want to open up. Let's see, game options. Let's go ahead and come up here. All right, and for this, we're gonna want to change our content a little bit. So we have to fit, oof, 3. Ah, jeez, really? 3? You know what? Real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and play so that we can see what our option menus are. I want to say that it should go in gameplay, like that menu. But that's going to require 4 fields. We're going to need a checkbox for smoothing, integer field for amount of smoothing. Then we're going to need 2 sliders for sensitivity. Okay, so let's go ahead and do start. No reason for us to not have maximize on play. Let's go to options. So I don't think we should put it in display. That doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really make sense for it to be in graphics either. Let's go ahead and cancel. Which pretty much just leaves, yeah, it's definitely not going to go in audio. It just leaves game. I just have to add 4 fields to this, which is kind of going to be gross. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, So 6 is currently the maximum that I have in a menu, and that's a bit of a tight fit, I kind of think. Okay. Well, so I think what we're going to want to do is we're going to add well, let's just mess with it and see what we can get. Because I think if worse comes to worse, I can eke out 7. It's just I'm a little worried because this is 6. Um, and it's tight. So, we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and stop that. And I guess I can go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff. Let's go ahead and open up our game options. Game options view. Open that up. All right. So we are going to have public image. Image? Really? That. What the freak am I using the image for? Show word hints. That's interesting. Why? It's an image. That. Huh? Why? Why is it an image? That's really weird to me. Hold on. So it's like literally. Why? That doesn't actually do anything. Why would I do it that way? Why wouldn't I just turn the. What? It's only in that one. Why? Why wouldn't I use the toggle kraut? Like, hold on. Oh, that's why. Duh. Because they're not actual toggles. So these checkboxes here aren't actual Unity toggles. Instead, what happens is if you click anywhere on here, it'll activate that. Okay, that's why. Let's see. Some of the combat needs tweaking too. Easy to cheese some units, that kind of thing. Try to stay away from early access. Easy to get burned. Plus, I don't get to play a game, or I don't like to play the game and fun to finish it and never get back to it. Yeah, it's pretty much my opinion of it, or of the system, I guess. Okay. So we're going to lower the actual font size of these things. I guess for reference, I'm going to go ahead and drag in display options because that's our largest one. Let's see how large I make these. So 38. Okay, so we're going to change these to be 38 instead of 48. They're going to be about that big, which I also should have looked at how large every item is in there. We're looking at sizes of 40. Okay. Let's go ahead and change this to. Oh my. They don't. Okay. Got to redo some of this, apparently. Let's add a layout element. Let's go ahead and make a min height of. Oh, that did not do what I wanted. Min height of 40. That can't be right. Oh, right, because this needs to control. There we go. Okay, one more time. There. There we go. Wow, really? It's 40. Oh, that wouldn't. Yeah, we can't do 40 because that makes it teeny tiny. That makes things a little bit more annoying. So I guess that means we want it to be 50. It's a little bit more manageable, but it does make our checkboxes pretty small, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I guess for consistency's sake, I'm going to go ahead and also copy this component and paste it on everything else. So paste component is new. That way we can at least get some spacing out here. It's not terrible, but let's go ahead and also make our checkboxes the correct size. So we want this width to be 40. That's a little small, in my opinion. I would kind of prefer 50. So let's do 50 and see if we can get away with that. Oh, there We're already all 50. Crap. So that means these need to be 60. Not a huge fan of that. How about our display options, root? How much do we separate these guys? Oh, wait, it's on a grid, but it all fits, which I guess makes sense. Oh, I probably need to make it. No, that should be fine. So we have spacing of 15 as opposed to this spacing, which is 20. So let's go ahead and shrink that down a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can make this work. So we want all of our labels to be at size 38, which includes, of course, our labels here. 38. Okay, so we have plenty of room, I think. Let's go ahead and turn this stuff off. So we need to add a smooth button. So let's go ahead and duplicate toggle crouch. We're going to move this back up here. So we're going to say, first off, scale this all to be correct. So this is going to be smooth look button. Okay, let's change our label to smooth mouse look. That's pretty much all we need there. After that, we are going to want a... Should I make it a slider or should I make it a... Jeez. So I can either make the amount of sampling a slider or I can make it an actual int field. I feel like a slider would be better. Well, it doesn't matter. If I do a slider, I have to have a field that you can enter a value into, so... So hooray! Okay, let's see here. So let's go ahead and... Jeez. My only problem with that is that it means... Oh yeah, we're getting super spaced out here. Really? Oh, right. Hold on. There we go. I want to see my actual area that's being affected. Yeah, I'm going to have to shrink these guys down. Boo. So this is going to be smooth look amount. Smooth look amount. Let's see. Smoothing. Smoothing amount. I don't really know what this option is called in games normally. Does anyone have any ideas on that? What I should call the amount of smoothing that you get when you have mouth smoothing on? I feel like smoothing amount works. It's just kind of ambiguous. I don't really know what to call that thing. So we're also going to go ahead and change this from a checkbox. Because it's going to be a slider and then an int amount. So, okay. I guess before I do anything else, I do need to go ahead and make this a slide or a scroll view. So let's go ahead. We're going to get rid of the horizontal scroll view. We're going to make this not be horizontal. We're going to make it clamped. Sure, we can have inertia. We'll have scroll sensitivity of, we'll say 15. Also go ahead and expand this. Let's go ahead and grab our content. Copy. Oh, right. I didn't mean to remove that. I meant to say copy. So we're going to paste this value. All right. And then we get some fun stuff. So we're going to have this be anchored there. Make that 0. Okay, you're going to be like that. We're going to give it a vertical layout group, which actually I can just go ahead and copy from this. So copy component. Paste this component as new. Let's go ahead and collapse that. And then we're also going to want to go ahead and add a content size fitter. Make sure that it fits to the min size of everything. And then we're going to move all of this to be below it. Boop. Okay, so not much of a change there. But we do want to try and get everything on screen if we can. Billy D. Williams. That actually is pretty good. Just need to get his face too. So like the more Billy D's you have, the more faces that show up there. Oh jeez. I I kind of want to do that as a joke, except he would sue me. So sadly I can't. Um, Also, I guess that would be a little bit more effort than I'm willing to sink in because you would have to increment that in whole numbers, which I guess you can do anyway. Um, and I guess that's what it's going to have to be anyway. So smooth look amount. Let's go ahead and create a slider. 5 Landos. Look at you, man. I'm not doing it. I just can't. That'd be so great, though. Should just have it spout random quotes, too. Like, this smoothing is getting worse all the time. Oh, jeez. No, that would be so bad. Would that be Landos with an ES or just an S? What is the pluralization of Lando Calrissian? Alright, so for this, how do we want to set this up? So I think I'm also going to go ahead and actually move our checkboxes over a little bit. So it looks like they were set to be anchored at 0.7. I'm going to go ahead and make them at 0.6. So a little bit further over to the left. Okay, get rid of this, and this. We're going to come over here. And actually, do I already have a slider on a menu? Because that would be super convenient. Yes, I should have one for audio, at the very least. Let's go ahead and open that up. I'm just going to steal one of these. Content, master volume, slider. I'm going to duplicate you and drag you down. Cool. Put you here. Go ahead and 0 and 0. We'll do anchor of... It's going to be kind of awkward having it be like at 0.5. And then 0.7. 0.8 probably. Nah, 0.7. Let's go ahead and do top 10. 0 and 0. Go ahead and make that our, what do I want to call that? Smooth. We'll just say Lando's. Lando's slider. I don't know. Well, should it be Lando's or Calrissians? Calrissians. I feel like that pluralizes better, but I don't know. Lando is so smooth. Okay, so let's also go ahead. Is it set to be empty right now? Oh, no, it's just gray for its background. Ugh, that's hardly a good color for that. Let's see, fill area, fill. Change this to, let's see. What color should a mouse slider be? Blue is usually a safe bet. Like that. Let's also go ahead and minimize this, minimize this. We can do that. Let's go ahead. I was going to say, I like that it's whole numbers, except that it like won't do whole numbers unless I click off of it. So this is going to be between 1 and 15, we determined. Those are going to be the values that we allow. So in addition to that, we're going to go ahead and also need our master input, which apparently I spelled wrong, so that's fun. Go ahead and grab this. Say Lando's input. Let's see. So that's going to be from 0.75 to 0.9. Seems right. 10 and 10. Nope, can't do that. Let's do 0 and 0. That works pretty well. 0 from the left, 0 from the right. We might be able to get away with 0.7. Oh, no, we cannot. 0.75. Can I get away with 0.85? It's a little tight. It's also going to only allow for integers. It's going to have a character limit of 2. So we're going to set this to be 4 by default, because that's the value I think works. And we'll set this to 4 by default. And that should be pretty good. Should pretty much be all I need to do. And let's go ahead. So that sets up our smooth look. Real quick, I'm going to turn on my display options. Oh, that makes sense. Let's go ahead and turn this off. Turn this on. So I think our display options actually goes quite a bit higher by default. No, they're about the same. God, it's just like they're packed so much tighter though. So I think I need to decrease these guys back down to 50 for their actual sizes. Let's go ahead and grab all these, reduce that down to 50, and then we're going to change our toggles, I guess, to be 40. Ugh. Not a great look, in my opinion. But it's better than having them be too large to be on screen, I guess. Alright, so let's go ahead, minimize all that, and so that's our smooth look amount. The next thing we need to do is mouse sensitivity, just so that we can tweak that at runtime. So we're pretty much going to do the same thing that we just did for smooth look amount, except it's going to just be for sensitivity. So let's go ahead and duplicate that, move that up to here. Oh, I probably should have this not be anything, so that I don't get the red being duplicated. Okay. So there's going to be a sensitivity. X. Pretty sure I spelled that right. Mouse sensitivity X. Wow, that is really close. Can I make them like that? Not crazy about that. I wonder if I could lump the sensitivity X and Y into one thing. No, that wouldn't work. So I guess, geez. Whenever I get in this situation, I usually boot up a game, but I can't really think of a game I have installed right now that would actually have these options. Because a lot of the stuff I've been playing is kind of old ports. I don't know. I think that most games do have separate mouse sensitivity settings, correct? They have one for X and one for Y. I'm like 90% sure that that's the case. So let's go ahead and... geez. First, let's rename this sensitivity X slider. Go ahead and copy that. Some do, not all. Well, do you mean 1D doesn't, or the one you're working on currently doesn't? Because in either of those cases, I don't think that that's a good good analogy. Yeah, I'm pretty. I guess in these situations, whenever I am not sure, then I just err on the side of giving players more options. So, oh man, I gotta like lower the freaking spacing or something. It's getting super tight in here. So scroll view, can we do like 75 from the top maybe? Let's do like 80. 200 from the bottom. I'm just getting... It's a little tough. I want to try and get everything in that I can in one thing without scrolling, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that. That will be sad. Oh, right. And Landos by default, I guess, should actually be... let's see. Oh, you're not set to... Right. So this should actually be set to 30. Between 10 and 30? Well, no. You know what? Let's go ahead and just say 1. And then we'll make it... Its input be 30 by default. Set to 2. Okay, so that's all correct. Sensitivity of X, that is correct. Add the label though. Let's... I think we're gonna change our positioning here. So these guys will start at 0.8 and go until 0.9. And then the sliders will go from 0.55 to 0.75. Yeah, that seems good. My new one, 1D doesn't use mouse controls. Yeah, that's why I was joking that it wouldn't make sense for to use 1D as an example. Yeah, I mean it wouldn't. I don't think it really matters too much, but I do know that there is a nice thing about having your sensitivities be on individual axes, because sometimes you want to be able to turn left and right really quickly, but not so much up and down. So yeah, I guess it makes sense just to separate them out. So I say sensitivity. So we just need one more field, which is going to be sensitivity Y. Oops, more up here. Up here, sensitivity Y. Go ahead and rename this as appropriate. Y, sensitivity Y. Label of Y. Okay. And next. Oh, geez. Can I compress this even more? God, my options are getting so tight. Well, first things first, I guess. Oh no, we want that to be masked, I suppose. But we don't need this. So let's go ahead and remove that, and then remove you. And yeah, I just don't think I can get another thing on here. I mean, if we change this to like 150, how far from the bottom do I go before I get carved out, basically? So I do like 160. Oh, I can't, but I can do like 155. The problem is that that's just too freaking close. Because I need at least 2 lines of text to be possible down here for hints. Jeez, what to do about that? Well, I guess I can go ahead and say from the bottom 200. Oof, that is hardly ideal. Can I shorten that to like 175 so that as long as I have something peeking out, then it won't be that bad. The main thing is how do my freaking hints look? I guess we'll just try it. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and say drop down group. We're going to have a field count of, so what's 2, 4, oh wait, no, I haven't even put those in yet. We'll hold off on that for a second. Right, so we're going to want to have toggle crouch button. So we're going to need another event button for smooth mouse button. What else do we need? So we're not going to have event buttons for the next couple of things. Instead, we're going to go ahead and say public slider. Oh, really? I'm not using UI? Oh, it's because I spelled public wrong. Public slider. So this will be smoothing mount slider. Public TMP. Oh, I'm also not using TextMesh Pro. So using TM Pro. So TMP underscore input field. This will be our smoothing mount input. Basically, we're going to duplicate that 3 times. So this is going to be sensitivity X slider. Let's grab that. Y and Y. Okay. So that should have our entire set of controls that we need set up. So we should let that compile. And then I'm going to go ahead and say, I need to duplicate this, don't I? So I'm going to have a smooth mouse toggle. Get rid of this. And last, we're going to want to go ahead and say drop down group. We're going to have a drop down group with, let's see, so we have 2, 4, 6, 7. So 7 with a string label of just hints. Or how about like hover hints? And then we're going to go ahead and have drop down group field, which I don't think we really care about. We just need to have that in there. But I think I can do that. And let's go ahead and just copy this. So let's see. We have crouch hint. We're going to need smooth mouse hint. I'm going to leave these empty for now, and then I'm going to fill them in once we're done putting them in here. Let's see. So smooth mouse hint, smooth mouse mount hint. Let's see. What are the other ones? So sensitivity X hint should be next. Sensitivity X hint. Let's go ahead and duplicate that before ending up with sensitivity Y hint. All right. So our actual hints here should be something like enable mouse smoothing will make. Oh geez, how to describe this? I don't want to say will smooth your mouse movements. Will smooth looking. Well, smooth looking around. Hold on. Will make. Geez, how do I want to phrase this? Enable mouse smoothing. While active, looking around in game will be less snappy. Well, geez. While active, looking around in game will be smooth. I don't know how to phrase it other than that. I don't know. What's a common tooltip for this? Looking around in game will be less. I don't want to say less responsive because even though that's technically true, it makes it sound like you're intentionally making the game less responsive. Will be less twitchy, I guess. It's such a terrible hint, but we're gonna leave it at that for now. Um, the amount of smoothing to apply when mouse smoothing is enabled. Okay. The sensitivity. Wow, I cannot spell. Sensitivity of your horizontal mouse. Jeez. Sensitivity of your horizontal mouse looking. Because I don't want to say movements, because that's not actually correct, but I guess we'll just do that for now. Of your vertical mouse movements. Reduces jerky movement. Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah, let's see. While active, looking around will be less twitchy. Reduces jerky movement. Looking around. See, that's the thing is it's not really movement. It's only looking. It doesn't have anything to do directly with your movement, because you can still do WASD and all that independent of the mouse look. So I feel the need to mention that it is specifically looking around that does it. Makes you look less like a jerk. That's not a bad phrasing. We'll just leave this as that. Alright, so let's go ahead and let that compile. Should get a nice little drop down here. We don't want to hide cursor on close either. We want to turn that off, because we're not going to hide it. Oh good. My drop down totally failed. Why did my drop down fail? Am I not using this right? It's been a while since I've done this, so. Oh, it's because I don't need it on the first one. Doi. Okay. Let's let that compile again. Guess while this is happening, let's go ahead and open up everything, because we're going to need to do so. Oh, right. Ooh. So I don't really have much of a reason for the event button stuff to be on our smooth look amount or mouse sensitivity, except I need their hover information. So I guess I could make the pressed color the same as the highlighted color, and then it would be fine. Let's go ahead and go back to here. Not having it, huh? Okay, well, let's see. Classic create view. So just out of curiosity, classic create. I mean, seriously? Prefabs. Classic play. Oh, let's create. Wait, what? What is going on here? Oh, geez, I'm like missing scripts. That's not really great. Huh. Interesting. So drop down group 7 buttons, and then everything else just worked. What am I doing wrong here? Drop down group, 7, same thing, drop down group field. Pretty much the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Huh. I wonder why it won't show up. Kind of weird. Huh. Alright, well, I guess I'll just leave it alone for now. Not really hurting anything, just kind of weird. Okay, so let's go ahead and let that compile. Let's go back here. Oh, crap, I also need to have a scroll, don't I? So let's put that here, I guess. So public scroll rect. Scroll area. I need to make sure that I actually reset that whenever I open the menu, so I need to say using system.collections, because I'm going to have to have a coroutine for that, and let that compile. I'm a little worried about these nothing selected scripts. I don't really know what that's for. Well, at any rate, let's go ahead, come up here. And I wonder why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you seem to work, but both of you seem to work, but then I can't get it to work in game options view. That makes no sense. Which kind of makes me wonder if it's because of that. I have to do it in like this order. That would be dumb. It's also super awkward. Let's see if this works. I will be kind of angry if it does. But I guess it could make sense anyway because there's a serialization order there. So for the AP, I can spend 50 to ask you something, or I can just type in chat for free. It makes total sense. Yeah, I can't actually customize those too much. There's like a set list of things that I can do. So some of the things on there are kind of lame. Yeah. Yeah, the Inquire thing, that seemed like one of the good defaults, so I'm like, doesn't really matter. And yeah, there's no real point to getting that one, because you can totally just ask me that in chat. Alright, anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and put this under here. Obviously, got to rename that to smooth. You know what, no. Lando toggle. Because, of course. Let's see. Come back up here. Let's put in our scroll rect here. And, okay, so now we got to start adding everything. So I probably need to actually have some button fields for the other stuff, even if they're not going to be using buttons, really. So we have smooth mouse, or smooth mount button. Then we have sensitivity X button, followed by sensitivity Y button. Go ahead and let that compile. Oh, look at that! Hover Hints suddenly decided that it was going to behave. That's weird. Okay, don't know what was going on there. So now they're in a nice drop down, which makes things a lot easier. Huh. Well, whatever. It'll be nice when we can actually test this out in game to make sure that things work. Let's see here. So, oh yeah, so I was right. It's because they're fighting with each other. That's gross. Yeah, okay. It's not the end of the world, but that's kind of disgusting. So yeah, it's because the drop-down group stuff had to be last. Alright, let's go ahead and say... Also, actually, hold on. Did those have... Okay, good. They were just text areas. I was worried they had tooltips that I didn't redo. Okay, so we need our event buttons real quick. So smooth look amount button. Then we need sensitivity X, sensitivity Y. Okay, now we need our slider. So Lando's slider, of course. Then Lando's input, followed by U and okay. Let me try that again. U and okay. So now we need to actually code all of the code for that. Let's go ahead and turn that off. I'm going to go ahead and apply these changes real quick. And we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, so we need to first up get our hints taken care of. Let's go ahead and say, wow, yeah, super great. So we get to optimize this stuff too. Streamlining. That's my favorite part of revisiting old scripts. Okay, so we have on apply, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to go ahead and say private void on hover enter string hint. Okay, so we're going to say output text is equal to hint. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Let's go ahead and see. So we have on click. We're going to move the on click stuff to be isolated from everything else, so that it's a little bit more sensible. Let's see, on hover, on click, get both of these guys. Okay, so now we need. Let's see, so that's going to be our smoothing, and that's really the only one that needs to handle clicking. So this is going to be mouse smooth button or smooth mouse button. I'm going to change on hint hover, get rid of U, get rid of on crouch hover, get rid of on run cover. Okay, so we're going to have private void on smooth clicked. Then we're not going to worry about setting up all of the variables yet. Let's go back here. All right, so for this, we're going to go ahead and just say delegate on hover enter, passing in run hint, like that. So it's just going to be an army of that, basically, for on hover enters, which means that we're going to move all of the on hover exits back as well to there. Let's get rid of all of this. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this. Paste that in, paste that in. This is going to be our crouch hint, followed by our hint. I'd say that was going to be a really awkward one. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this, get rid of these. All right, let's go ahead and copy this. So smoothing, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, so smooth mouse button, smooth amount, sensitivity X button, sensitivity Y button. Okay, sensitivity Y hint. Copy that in, place the X. Oops. There we go. Let's see. Smooth amount hint, followed by smooth hint. Cool. Then pretty much the same thing. So we need 1, 2. Just copy these in. Mount button, sensitivity X, sensitivity. Oop, wrong thing. Cool. So now if we were to play, all of our tooltips should show up whenever we hover, but that's not going to actually set our functionality to work, so we need to take care of that. So on smooth click, let's go ahead and set up our toggle crouch and all this stuff. And let's go ahead and go over to here. So these are why I have these things. Ah, freaking FOV. Ah. Yeah, I'm going to need another field. But we're not going to set up FOV for now. So for this, we're going to have game smoothing. Well, I'll say mouse smoothing. Is equal to 44. Game smoothing amount is equal to 45. Game sensitivity x is equal to 46. Game sensitivity y is equal to 47. Okay, let's go back up here. Options view. And that's interesting. Do I just do that as... Huh. Alright. Let's see. So we're going to want to have, let's see, toggle crouch, toggle run. Let's go ahead and do this. Private bool. Mouse smoothing. Yeah. We're just going to copy this. Paste that in. Get bool. This is going to be game mouse smoothing. Paste that in. That's going to go under our game settings. It's going to be false by default. As is toggle run. It's going to be false by default. Because those are the two that I prefer. Okay, so that takes care of our toggles. Next I need to do integers. Oh crap, except I did forget. Hold on, let's go ahead and save this real quick. I got a little bit ahead of myself. The mouse sensitivity things should not be integers. Currently they're set up to be integers only, but they should probably be floats, I would think. I mean, there's geez, that's a complicated question. So do you think I should expose the mouse sensitivity options as floats or integers? Integers would be cleaner, but floats would allow more control for the player. So, preferences? I don't really know. Although, you know what I could do is I can do a poll on this. Hold on. Hold on. Ah! I can do polls! So I just put a poll up in the stream. Go ahead and vote for what you think. I guess that's true. That's probably not a bad idea. Well, but does percentage make sense? Because that means that at 100%, what does that mean? But then again, I guess really 4 doesn't mean anything. Neither does 30 when I think about it. Yeah, I don't really have a good... oh, actually, you know what? I should totally change that. Let's go up here to Game Options View. We're going to say in frames. Or how about measured in frames? Measured in frames. Let's go ahead and save that. Go ahead and add that as part of it. Yeah, no number really means much, so use what displays best. Yeah. I don't know, it's just kind of awkward because I personally think that 4 is a pretty comfortable sensitivity, but um, well, I I mean that would mean that I would allow you to go. I think I allow you to go up to 15 right now, and that means that it would be what 400% of the sensitivity. Geez. I mean that would work, I guess. But that also means that I need to have a hard-coded default value, which is um, yeah. I think for now I'm going to leave it as just this arbitrary number, and then I'm going to after the stream tonight I'm going to take a look at a couple of games and see what they do, to see if I can get some amount of idea. Like I'll probably install Oblivion and take a look at that. I don't know, install Doom, assuming I can free up the space and take a look at that, because those would be games that sort of control is kind of important. Um, anyway, so let's go ahead and jump back here. Oh, right, I forgot. Need to open this up and smooth amount. Paste that in, measured in frames. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and say private. Wow, that was not at all. Okay, percentage. I mean, percentage does make more sense than an arbitrary number. So I'll probably end up doing that, but I'm still curious to see what a wide variety of games do. So private int. Let's see. So this is going to be mouse smoothing amount. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and come over here. Say get int. Set int. It's going to be 30 by default. And all that stuff. Game smoothing amount. Let's go ahead and copy that in. Alright. After that, we have float values. So, wow, I can't spell. Or I can't type. Either way. Float. So this will be sensitivity x. Copy this. Get float. Set float. Game sensitivity x. That's going to be 4f by default. Go ahead and copy this. Set that to be y. Set that to be y as well. Y. Okay. And so that should store all of our values. And let's go ahead and set up our other cached values. So cached smooth is equal to false. Then we're going to have private int cached smooth amount is equal to 30 by default. Private float cached sensitivity x is equal to 4f by default. Excuse me. I think I barely managed to turn the mic off before I sneezed. All right, so that's all of our cached values. So we're gonna need to do all this fun stuff. So we're gonna say cached smooth is equal to toggle. Mouse smoothing. Then cached smooth amount is equal to mouse smoothing amount. Cached sensitivity x is equal to sensitivity x. And cached sensitivity y is equal to sensitivity y. Okay, so that's all of our cached values getting set up. Do I need to... a little worried. Yeah, I gotta add that to the settings too. Ah! It's a never-ending run. Oh, right. And I, of course, forgot that I could do all this this stuff. Um, okay. Let's see. I suppose I should keep with consistency here. So let's go ahead and say case. What do we got here? So this will be for smoothing, which I guess would be S. That's kind of all I can do. So case smoothing, case mouse smoothing. Case finally with mouse smooth. I don't know why I bother putting that in there. I seriously doubt anyone's ever going to actually type these options in, but you know, you never know. Oh, and I guess I should probably make it. What is it? Mouse smooth or smooth mouse look? Yeah. Smooth mouse look. Okay. So from this, we're going to want to go ahead and say on smooth clicked. Everything else kind of just exists. Let's see. Run toggle enabled. We're going to go ahead and say... oh, did I add a field for that? I did, right? Yeah. Smooth mouse toggle dot enabled is... Wow, that did not work. Dot enabled is equal to mouth smoothing. Okay. So that. And okay, so here, so mouse smoothing is equal to cached mouse cache smooth. Oops. Mouse smoothing amount is equal to cached smooth amount. Sensitivity X is equal to cached sensitivity X. Sensitivity Y is equal to cached sensitivity Y. And let's see, cancel click. All right, so now we can do our actual stuff here. Go ahead and do refresh settings. So this will be mouse smoothing is equal to not mouse smoothing. Okay, and that is pretty much all you need to do for buttons. But now I need to set up scroll bars and, well, not scroll bars, sliders and inputs. Ugh. So private void on smooth amount slider changed. See, I hate doing it because it's so long. Value. Private void on smooth amount input changed. Wow, changed. String value. Okay. And I guess we're probably just going to handle this code because we're going to duplicate it for the other two fields. So we're going to say mouse smoothing amount is equal to value followed by, are you kidding me? Oh, it's an int, right. So I want to convert that to an int. And then on top of that, I need to make sure that I say mouse, well, no, I guess it would be smoothing amount input dot text is equal to value dot toString 0, 0. It's going to be only the two integers being shown. And that is all I should care about. So we're going to go ahead and say on smoothing amount input changed. When that happens, we're going to go ahead and say on smooth amount slider changed, and we're just going to do value.toFloat. Simple as that. Let's go ahead, duplicate this stuff, copy this, paste that in. So instead of smooth amount, this is going to be sensitivity. sensitivity X slider change. Let's go ahead and copy this. Move this down to here. Alright, this is going to be our sensitivity X is equal to value. Sensitivity X input dot text is equal to value. We'll keep it as just 2 digits for now. Okay, let's go ahead and copy this. Copy this one more time, and then we're just going to swap everything out. And then that should be the basis of our functionality working. Y, 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 and Y. Okay. Last thing we need to do is actually assign the event listeners for all that. So we're going to go ahead and say smooth amount slider dot on value change dot add listener on smooth amount slider changed. Smoothing amounts input dot on end edit dot add listener on smoothing amount input changed. Let's go ahead and paste that. So this is going to be our sensitivity X slider, sensitivity X input, sensitivity Y slider. Copy that, paste U, Y. Let's see. On sensitivity Y input changed, X input changed. On sensitivity Y slider changed. X slider changed. Alright, so that should be everything that I need to do, I believe. Let's go ahead and let that compile. And actually, while that's happening, I do need to go over to save. So, oh, right, and I forgot on refresh settings, I need to make sure that I set my values there. So I need to say, geez, how do I want to do that? I guess we would say, let me think, slider. So that would be mouse, since smoothing slider, smoothing amount slider dot value is equal to smoothing amount. Okay. Followed by sensitivity dot Y slider X slider dot value is equal to sensitivity dot X followed by sensitivity dot Y slider dot value is equal to sensitivity dot Y. Just out of curiosity, how's the stream holding up? It looks like it's kind of stuttering on my end, but that could just be me. So, all right, let's go ahead, and I think that's all I need to do. Let's go ahead and let that recompile. But also, I do need to go over here to save settings. So go to definition. We're going to go to save. Let's see, we have video, graphics, audio. Did I not save my gameplay? What the heck? Huh. I don't right now. That's kind of weird. Must just be my Twitch page then. It's like, it's not really stopping or anything. It just seems to buffer every couple of seconds really quickly and then get back to it. So it's kind of weird. All right. So it looks like I don't actually save this stuff. That's kind of funny. I wonder why. Probably just because I never got around to it. Okay, I guess we're going to do that then. So let's go ahead and add some JSON objects. So this will be gameplay JSON is equal to new JSON object. here. Say gameplay JSON.add. Let's see. Do I have actual fields for this? Graphic game controls. Oh crap! I forgot about inverting mouse. Well, I'm not going to worry about that for now. I have no less than 6 mouse options. Jeez, that's gross. Technically 4. If you roll sensitivity into 1, you roll the smoothing into 1. God, that's crazy. So we're not going to worry about. Okay, hold on. Aha! I spelled sensitivity wrong before. I thought I spelled it right. So let's see, that's sensitivity. We're not going to worry about X, so we're going to go ahead and have smoothing. Let's go ahead and put these in here. So public const string controls mouse smoothing is equal to mouse. We'll say smoothing enabled. We'll just say smoothing. Let's go ahead and grab that. I'm just going to go ahead and change that to just smoothing and then smoothing amount. Smoothing amount. Smoothing dash amount. Alright, let's go back here. So we're going to have to say settings utility dot game. Oh, that's interesting. Oh. Let's go ahead and paste that all in there. So we're going to say game underscore smoothing followed by. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. All of this has to be stored, doesn't it? Yep. Yep. Ah, jeez. Okay, adding these fields too. Play. Private. Crap, what did I call it? I guess it'll just be a bool. So private bool. Mouse smoothing is equal to false. Private int mouse smoothing amount is equal to 30. Private float mouse sensitivity x is equal to 4f. Private float mouse sensitivity y is equal to 4f. Okay. Is there much of a reason? Oh, right. I was wondering about that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that I actually adjust these directly now, don't I? Oh, well, maybe not. Frame rate's probably not a good one. Let's go for gamma, or full screen, actually, that'd be a good one. Find all references. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I simplified that. That makes things a lot easier. So let's go ahead and go back here. So we're going to simplify this down to return game settings dot. Oh crap! I don't have one for toggle run yet, do I? I gotta do that. Okay. Let's go up here. So private bool toggle run is equal to false. Private bool toggle crouch is equal to true by default. Private bool. I think it's show hints. Show hints is equal to true by default. Phew. Jeez. I did not think that it would be this much of a rewrite, but I guess I really haven't done much in the game options view in a while. So let's go ahead and we need to come down here to video. Display. Let's go ahead and minimize these. Audio. Graphics. Yeah, okay. So, region. And we're going to call this gameplay and region. Alright, did I leave a space between them? No. Makes sense. Okay, so this is going to be public static bool toggle run get return instance dot toggle run. I think the way I set this up is every time you set it, yeah, we do refresh. But I don't really need to do that for toggle. Oh crap! No, I totally do. Ah, jeez. No winning here. So we have refresh graphics settings, refresh display settings, refresh settings. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and say public static void refresh gameplay settings. Okay. So we'll go ahead and call that. So we're gonna say set refresh gameplay settings at the very end there. We're going to say instance.toggle run is equal to value. Woof. All of the UI, or all of the menu code. I did not realize that we would be doing this tonight. Toggle crouch. Show hints. This is going to be toggle crouch. Go ahead and also say, let's paste that in. So this is going to be not toggle crouch, but mouse smoothing. Mouse smoothing. Mouse smoothing. Show hints. Copy this. Paste that in. Okay. Actually, for this one, we don't really care that much. Mouse smoothing. Everything else we do. So let's go ahead and say public static int mouse smoothing amount get return instance dot mouse smoothing amount set instance dot mouse smoothing amount is equal to value followed by refresh gameplay settings. Woof. All of this fun stuff. Float. This is going to be sensitivity X. Sensitivity X. I probably should make that. Go ahead and say mouse sensitivity X. Go ahead and do that. Copy this. Alright, so that's all we needed from there. That means that all of our stuff is set up. What's even better is that even once we get the saving working, that's not actually going to be the end of it, because then we need to set it up so that our player listens for these events and changes their settings appropriately. Okay, so let's go over here to game options view, get rid of you because we don't need you. So we're going to go ahead and change this to, instead of get bool and all this complicated stuff, we're just going to go ahead and say toggle run. And same thing here. Toggle run is equal to value. So it shortens my code a little bit, at least as far as the width is concerned. Toggle crouch. Wow, I totally did that wrong. Is equal to value, because that's going to be a loop if I'm not careful. Stack Overflow. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. So mouse smoothing. This mouse smoothing is equal to value. Then we have show hints. Show hints is equal to value. Save that. Oh man, this will be so satisfying when we get to the end of this and it actually works. Or it'll be incredibly frustrating if it doesn't. Okay, so mouse smoothing amount. Go ahead and grab this. Value. We're going to have dot mouse sensitivity X. Do this is equal to value. Mouse sensitivity Y. Alright. Equal to value. All of that effort. And let's see here. So that should be all I need to do for this. Let's go ahead and go back here. We're going to scroll all the way down here to our save so we can finish coding that. So mouse smoothing. Go ahead and add that. Let's go ahead and just copy this. So amount, sensitivity. Oh, right, and then toggle. Okay, so game controls. Oh, sorry, game toggle run. Toggle crouch. Did I not add one for show word hints? Okay, good. I have one there. So, show hints. Oh, I guess I should use the lowercase version of these. Doesn't really matter either way, but might as well. Alright. So, mouse. Oh, that's totally not the right thing. Let's see. So, this is going to be toggle run, followed by toggle crouch, followed by mouse smoothing amount, followed by mouse sensitivity X and Y. We gotta make sure that we use our correct amount here. Amount, game, control mouse X sense, Y sense. Okay, so that should properly save things out. Oh, except, hold on. Peek that. Let's go ahead and grab this. Well, I didn't do that the right way. Set that. Set this as gameplay. All right. So that should save it out. Now we need to do the reverse and load it in. So we're going to say JSON object gameplay info is equal to info.getObject, or Ingo because I can't spell or type. Get object settings utility dot settings game, followed by new JSON object, just in case one doesn't exist there already. All right. So from there, we're pretty much going to do what this was. So we're going to set toggle run is equal to gameplay info dot get bool value at settings utility dot game underscore toggle run, followed by false by default. Okay, so there's crouch, U. So this is going to be game underscore toggle crouch, then game mouse, game control smoothing, followed by game underscore show word hints. So that's going to be true by default. True by default. So we have half of them be true, half of them be false for maximum confusion. Toggle crouch is equal to that. Mouse smoothing is equal to that, followed by show hints being equal to that. Okay, so from there, we're going to want to do mouse smoothing amount is equal to gameplay info dot get float. Get int value. Get int value. Settings utility dot game controls smoothing amount 30 by default. Mouse sensitivity X is equal to gameplay info dot get float value. Settings utility dot game underscore sends 4F being the default. Oh my goodness, we're almost done. This took way too long. And that should be all that we need to do as far as saving goes, which means that we just need to get down here to refresh settings, which, give me a second here, is also going to go ahead and call refresh gameplay settings. And what am I going to do with that, really? So here's the problem. I don't really have a good way of refreshing this. I guess we'll have to say if global.heroReference does not equal null, then we get to do the fun stuff, which is going to be global.hero. Oh man, I do not know if I have references to these dot look. Nope. Well, hooray! I get to add this stuff. Go ahead and let that compile. So I pretty much need. Go ahead and get rid of our display stuff. So whenever I call refresh on gameplay, I need to make sure that my player character's actual values will refresh to match the settings. Okay, this is interesting. What do you mean you don't exist? What? Oh, it's because I added game. Well, isn't that nice? So I also gotta update the default crap. Jeez. Okay. So there's gonna be a sensitivity of 4F, and let's go ahead and initialize all this fun stuff. And actually, you guys are going into game because you are not controls, you're game stuff. Let's see, mouse sensitivity, that all is fine. Followed by game.add, game smoothing, false by default, game.add, game smoothing amount, 30 by default. And I guess after that we have sensitivity, so that's everything that I need for that. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and let that compile, see if that fixed our little problems there. Only partially. It seems that we still are missing some stuff. Oh right, am I even using this anymore? Yes. Oh, yeah, that's probably old code. Ugh. That probably doesn't really need to happen anymore, but we'll keep it around for now. I'm not going to worry about getting rid of it. That was the old stuff that you saw me just replace, basically, by adding actual fields to game settings itself. So we'll let that compile. I need to open up my player character prefab and assign references to those two look objects. Ah, that's super fun. Oh, dang it. I need to add public fields for them too. Well, not public fields, but public getter setters. So I guess we can go ahead and do that. So let's look for FPS mouse look. So I basically need to add public getters and setters for all that. Okay, so can look. Let's go ahead and do public bool smooth get return smooth set smooth is equal to value. Let's go ahead and say oof. I have sensitivity, don't I? Yes, I do. So we need to be able to set sampling and then sensitivities. So let's go ahead and say public int sampling get return sampling set sampling is equal to value. public float sensitivity x, get return sensitivity x, set sensitivity x is equal to value, and then let's just copy that. Okay. Let's go ahead, come here. All right, so that means that I do need to have a reference to those objects. Go ahead and collapse this. Let's collapse you and prefabs, player, hero. So our hero, probably our player script. Oh, good. Look at that. I already am doing that. Yay! At least I hope I am. So let's go ahead, come up here. Game settings. Where are you? And right about here. Okay. So we're going to say global dot hero reference dot, what did I call it? Mouse X. Cool. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and say FPS mouse look. You know what? I can just do it directly. Mouse X dot. So this is going to be sensitivity X is equal to sensitivity X. What else really needs to happen there? So sensitivity Y is equal to Y. And then we're going to go ahead and say pretty much the same thing here. So we're going to say mousex dot smooth, followed by smooth, followed by smooth, sampling, yeah. Sampling. So mouse smooth, followed by mouse smoothing amount. Copy that. This. Okay. Okay. I think we got it. Okay. And before we do anything else, we do want to go ahead and say, load up my TQ scene loader. Let's go ahead and open you up. So whenever we transition scenes, I want to refresh that. So let's see, that's combat transition async. That's setting it to be false, that's fine. Level transition async, here we go. Let's see, post-process fade out begin. If post-process controller exists, refresh post-process effects. Complete. Give me a second. So I guess right about here, I'm going to want to say game settings dot refresh gameplay settings. Okay. I think that's all I need to do. So let's go ahead and let's apply the changes to the game options view. Let's go ahead and start a new game and see what happens and see if we get null references, and then we should be able to, if we're really lucky, actually adjust those settings at runtime. Oh, great. Now my game settings script has multiple line endings, and I don't know how to fix that anymore. That's truly disappointing. Great, now I have to look at how to do that, because that's going to bug me. So, all right, let's go ahead and turn this off. Hit apply. Looks like everything's in there. Let's go ahead and turn off our UI. Hit save. Okay. We should be good. So I'm going to try to just go into the castle scene and just adjust those settings. Okay. Let's go ahead and click through all that. Start. We're gonna do a new game. Plus, this will be good for me to confirm that I can still get into this castle scene, because I haven't been back here in a while. Alright, so everything looks good. No mouse smoothing. Shadows could probably be rebaked there. But that's not what we're looking at today. So let's go to Options, Game. Let's see. Horizontal, vertical, mouse movements. Let's see. Show world hints, show world suggestions. Make sure, just making sure that all of my hints are looking. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn. Oh crap! Oops! Did I? Did I forget to change the actual on click? Oops, I did. Yeah, that's about right. So let's go ahead and fix that. So smooth. I'm sorry, on smooth clicked. On smooth clicked. Is everything else working more or less? I think so. So all the hints we know works. All the hover exits work. Smooth amount, sensitivity X, sensitivity X, sensitivity Y, and sensitivity Y. Okay. Well, now we have an eternity to wait while Unity stops playing. There we go. Yeah, not quite an eternity, more like, half of an eternity. So we'll try that again. Yeah, that menu though, it kind of looks nasty. I don't like having part of the options be clipped like that. It just looks so sloppy. But I don't really have a good alternative, which is why it's so frustrating. All right, so let's go ahead. Try playing again. This time it will obviously work flawlessly. Start. Go ahead and just continue. All right, so we don't have smoothing on. Sensitivity seems fine, about what I would expect. Let's go ahead and go to options. We'll go to game. Okay, so let's turn on smooth mouse look. Let's go ahead and hit apply. Back, resume. Oof, yep, that's definitely smooth. Okay, so that works. Let's go ahead and go back here. Let's go to game, turn off. Oh crap, I forgot to make sure that this scrolls back up at the end. I guess let's turn on smoothing and let's shorten this down to like 10 frames. Apply, go back, resume. Oh, that's awkward. Oh, that's awkward as hell. So if I have mouse smoothing on and then you pause while you're mid-rotation, it'll resume as soon as you hit escape. That's not super great. It does seem to be better. Or not better, but it does seem to reflect the changes. I guess I can double check that manually. Let's go ahead and go over here to look object. Yep, sampling is set to 10. That's good. Let's go to options, game. Let's turn you off. Let's go to mouse sensitivity X. Let's crank that to 15. Crank you down to 1. Let's go ahead and apply. Back, resume. Okay, so yep, that's about right. And yep, going up and down is super slow. So cool. We got that working. Oh man, this would be so freaking hard to do. It's so painful looking up and down, but then it's just like super easy to rotate in place. Okay, so let's go ahead and set those back to the way they should be. Let's see, jump you down to 4 to 4, and yeah. Okay. So that, I think, we probably can lower that to like 15. That would be in the middle there. I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. Because, I mean, we have all of our... Yep, that feels right again. We have all of our mouse smoothing working. That took way longer than I expected because it kind of spiraled out into sensitivity and all that stuff as well. So, um, but yeah, I'm pretty excited because we have mouse smoothing in. So now I'll be able to make not crappy looking trailers because I'll actually be able to have non-jank movements like this. Like that's the best I can do if I tried to really make it smooth. Um, but with mouse smoothing on, I'll be able to do a lot more smooth transitions, I feel. So, okay. 3 hour dev stream. Oh my goodness. Ah, my throat is dry. Ah, do not talk for 3 hours normally. Okay. So, yeah, that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. Announcements. No, nothing really crazy happening. So, oh, shit. Almost knocked over my water bottle thing. So we'll be back streaming again on Saturday at 3 p.m. ish Eastern time. Gonna try to do more custom adventure stuff. So finish up what we were doing there with regards to getting items and all that functioning in game and behaving as we would expect. So yeah. Um, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.